Hi friends, I'm glad that you're here. I hope you're all staying safe and are all well. It's a trying time for all of us, but I know that this is something that many of you are interested in. You've asked me about what I'm doing in my vegetable garden. So I wanted to take a couple of minutes and make this video and share with you what we're doing right now and hopefully inspire you to put in a few vegetables in your own backyard. Now this is a pretty big garden, which I'm going to show you, but you could also transfer a lot of what we're doing here into containers and try a few of these things even on a deck or a patio at your own house. So welcome and come on in. So last fall, Ed and Ben built me some really nice raised beds, and so even though our garden is still under construction, the beds are pretty well situated and I've started to grow plants in them. I'm really looking forward to a successful year. One of the nice things about having raised beds is that I control what the soil is in them, so they're very rich in compost and good quality loam, and so we'll hopefully have a really good harvest. So our beds are laid out 1, 2, 3, 4 that are 3 by 10. One of them is 4 by 10. These L-shaped ones are 4 by 8, and they're mirrored images of each other, and I have a 4 by 4 at the end. These are built using 2 by 12 lumber, pressure treated on the bottom, and then these are 2 by 4s across the top. The nice thing about the 2 by 4s is they add not only structure that helps keep the wood from bowing, but it also gives me a nice place to rest my butt while I'm trying to do some gardening and able to reach in. So that's a nice feature of adding this feature on the garden. So the other thing that I try to do is to reuse as much as I can and try to keep things out of our landfills. We had a really nice raised hoop house that my son and daughter-in-law had given me, but it was destroyed in a Cape Cod storm. And so I've taken the structure of it and I've done a couple, I think, are really kind of cool things with it. One is the hoops. I've taken 2 of the hoops and I've mounted them into this garden bed and added some chicken wire to it. This will support our peas, which are in here. I have 2 kinds of peas. I have Sugar Daddy and I have Snow King. And the Snow King is up doing really well, and we have several plants coming up, as you'll see, and I've planted them on both sides with about a 4-inch spacing between each one. So these will be coming up and harvesting those in hopefully a few weeks, fingers crossed. The other thing in this bed is potatoes, and those get started about 6 inches in. So I feel pretty confident about being able to plant those now. I plant according to soil temperature, and instead of thinking about what the temperature of the air is, I think more about what the temperature of the soil is. So I take soil temp over a few days and see what it comes out to. We're at the high 50s, low 60s in the garden beds now. And so I feel pretty confident putting these in. In order to take the temperature, I just use a meat thermometer and one dedicated to my garden beds, and it gives me a pretty accurate reading. So if you'll notice on these couple of beds, I have these covered with black fabric, and this is just an inexpensive weed mat. And although I don't recommend using weed cloth in your garden spaces, this is a great use of it. I drape it over the bed. The black will absorb heat and help me to heat up the soil in these beds, and also keep weeds from growing in them while I'm waiting for the soil temp and the air temp to get to the point where we can plant tomatoes in these beds. So I'm looking forward to that, and we'll fill these. I like to plant a lot of tomatoes. 8 plants are a lot of tomatoes for a couple of people, but we'll have 4 different varieties, and that way we can share them with our friends. In this garden, this is a wider one. Right now I have garlic and onions in these, and the garlic was put in last fall, and that's what these are, and they're up and doing really well. And then my onions are just starting to come up. You can see lots of them. So I have onion sets in here, a couple of shallots in the end, and I'll be planting this front part with other brassicas, which do really well with onions. So broccoli, maybe a few Brussels sprouts. We'll see how I feel a little later in the season. This back bed is the only part that's really not raised, and right now I have 2 kinds of strawberries at either end. One is an ever bearer and one is a June bearer. So we'll have lots of June strawberries, and then we'll have a succession of a few as the season goes on, and just enough to, you know, reward the gardener for her work while she's out here. This part of the bed is asparagus, and this is the 3rd year. So I'm really hoping that we'll be able to harvest some asparagus this spring. First time, fingers crossed. Our little bed was really done because I wanted kind of a prep space in that area. So I shortened this bed up. This has my rhubarb, which is a perennial. And then I have some mesclun lettuce put in here that harvested about 30 days. So we'll have a nice early crop of some baby leaf lettuces coming out of here. And then once that's harvested, I can decide what else we might want to put in these beds. Now I haven't planted my pole beans yet, but I couldn't wait to get these in. So I wanted to put my structure in. So I have some 7-foot bamboo posts, and we're going to be planting some string beans and wax beans on these, but they won't go in until May, and once the soil really warms up to maybe 60-65 degrees. This is a trellis we just found at a flea market, and although I don't know if I'm going to grow anything up it right now, I do have some head lettuce and bok choy underneath it. So I may use this to drape material if it gets a little too sunny for them, to help to keep them cool and not bolt. Again, some more material covering parts of the beds that I haven't planted yet, and will do so soon. This is the other part of the hoop house that my son gave us. This is the sides. I've actually just turned them up on their ends, added some hardware cloth, and this is what I'll be growing cucumbers on, a couple different varieties. And again, this will give us some shade to put in some spinach and maybe some other lettuce type plants and keep it cool and keep them from bolting. This is my fig tree that's been in the shed. I just brought it out and started watering it again. Honestly, it's not looking great, but I'm really hoping it makes a rebound. I do check and see if there's any green underneath, and there is, so I know she's alive. We just gotta wait for her to come up. Now, a lot of people plant mint. I'm Lebanese, and so tabbouleh is an important part of my diet, and so I like to have a good supply of mint handy all the time. And once in a while, a mojito or 2 may come my way as well. But I found this at Michael's. It's actually a tree skirt for a Christmas tree, and I used it last year in my garden. And this year I'm just moving where it was. And what I do is I bury it up to about this point in the ground, and then plant my mint in that. So the roots, mint is very aggressive, but this hopefully will help me to contain the mint in a proper space. So that's kind of where we are right now. I hope at some point I'll take into the shed on another visit and show you what we're doing in there. It's a brand new shed. We just bought it in December, and it's a cross between a she and a he shed. It's definitely has some feminine touches to it, but it's a workhorse. So I will be, I'll look forward to sharing some of that with you. But this is where we are. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this, and I'll look forward to talking to you again soon. Hey everybody, stay safe and stay in and be well. Thanks.